It's Thursday, October 19. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn, says some of the deficiencies in the justice system is partly the failure of successive governments. The DPP reported this before the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee of Parliament, the PAAC, on Wednesday. She says the system is being crippled by inadequate infrastructure and a mounting backlog of cases.
Part of Jamaica's problem is the fact, and I say it, that the justice system has never really been as sexy for you legislators as building a highway. Therefore, the resources have not been put in place over the last 30, 40 years to enhance the capacity of the courts.
In a report submitted to the committee in September, the Justice Ministry says it expects to double the number of courts in the Supreme Court for criminal cases from 6 to 12. It was also noted that Cabinet signed off on an additional 17 posts, including 10 Crown Counsels for the office of the DPP. Approval has also been granted for 19 administrative positions to be upgraded, the DPP informed the committee. During yesterday's sitting of the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, PAAC, the matter of divorce forms being incorrectly completed by lawyers also came under the microscope.
Now, there are standard forms, but lawyers send these forms in with all sorts of variations to those forms. Okay. And they get requisition. She says that she did a full page and a half of requisitions to one lawyer, and those were additional to requisitions that had gone out before on the same divorce matter. And it's a problem that we have.
The real issue is not so much the department.
It isn't. It isn't.
The
time that it takes. Yes, the errors that come in on the petitions and the applications for NICEIs in particular.
Chairman, I'm sure Mrs. Hughes is not saying what I heard.
Why not?
That lawyers are dunces. They can't complete standard forms.
That's the truth. As a lawyer myself.
Yes.
So
that is an indictment on our law school. That's what you're saying.
No.
That we have lawyers who can't complete standard forms for their clients.
The island's economy will get a boost from an injection of more than $20 billion from new investments. That's the word from Finance Minister Audley Shaw. He was speaking at the International Monetary Fund World Bank Small States Forum. We have more in this report.
According to Finance Minister Audley Shaw, the investment is not a loan from the bank or the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, but a direct investment in Jamaica from the private sector and overseas investors. He notes that the government has targeted a series of infrastructure development projects that will drive the economy towards growth. These include reopening of the Alpart alumina plant with an investment of more than $3 billion to expand the facility, divestment of the country's main container terminal, construction of the North-South Highway, and the redevelopment of downtown Kingston. He added that there is an aggressive program to reduce the country's debt-to-gross domestic product ratio, the GDP, from 116% to 108% by the end of the fiscal year and down to 96% by the year 2020. He said that Jamaica intends to work with the World Bank and other multinational agencies to develop the country's human capacities and capital to grow the economy.
Cybercrime cost Jamaica $100 million last year. Cyber Incident Response Team recently told JIS think tank that internet security is a high priority for the government. And since October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, public education takes priority. Here's more in this report. Director of Network Security at Cable and Wireless, the Caribbean's largest telecoms company, Delroy McLean, says since 2015, they've had to deploy core firewalls across their regional networks, enabling them to monitor and mitigate commonly known threats, especially for Jamaica.
Our statistics month on month, or actually week on week, have shown that Jamaica is the most impacted country in the Caribbean. Let's use it that way. In many cases, 10 times more threats in Jamaica than any other Caribbean country.
He says the company provides free firewalls for commercial customers, but warned that further security comes down to the individual. Senior advisor at the Technology Ministry, Trevor Forrest, says while the government is moving towards more online connections, it's limited to protecting its state entities. He says paying bills online, using WhatsApp, Twitter, and so on takes a more personal approach.
So when we start to talk about the public awareness, we want everybody from the kid in school, his siblings, his parents, the teachers, principals, all the way up to the Prime Minister. The awareness must be there.
This is where the activities of the Cyber Incident Response Team, CERT, comes in. They are boosting their public education campaigns. Head of CERT, Dr. Munifa Hewling, says they are taking the cause to clubs and schools, even at the workplace, under the theme, cybersecurity in the workplace is everyone's business.
A lot of institutions worldwide, and Jamaica is not excluded from this, have been impacted by ransomware and other malware. A lot of times what we find is that it's that end user that clicked on an email link, an attachment, or went to a website that they shouldn't have. Just because they think it really shouldn't be their responsibility. It's the IT department's responsibility. So we want to get it across that, look, in the workplace, you have a responsibility to your employers to be safe online.
In the meantime, the CERT had informed that promotional materials such as posters, flyers and banners have been placed on social media and digital screens across the island by the ministry's telecoms partners. The Ministry of Health is working to improve the nation's capacity to prevent, detect and respond to mosquito-borne diseases like Zika and chikungunya. In recent years, Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean witnessed the emergence of several mosquito-borne diseases. The Minister of Health launched a Zika Air project this morning.
In 2014, the chikungunya virus had a significant impact on Jamaica and the Caribbean. This was followed by the Zika virus in 2016. Minister of Health, Dr. Christopher Tufton, this morning launched the Zika Airs project, or ZAP. ZAP is a component of USAID's Zika response throughout Latin America and the Caribbean. It's designed to reduce and control the presence of mosquitoes responsible for transmitting Zika and other diseases such as dengue and chikungunya. ZAP's environmental management activities include cleaning up areas around homes to eliminate places where mosquitoes can breed. ZAP will reduce the number of mosquitoes through larviciding, which targets mosquito larvae in breeding sites before they can mature into adult mosquitoes.
In regional news, Dominica is now in talks with the Red Cross for the humanitarian organization to take over the relief effort in the hurricane-ravaged island state. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt made the announcement at a press conference on Wednesday.
Officials here assisting us in many respects, and we're very grateful for this. I met with him this morning and his colleague, and we went through a number of important elements of the relief and, of course, moving into the recovery mode. And one of the things that we'll be discussing further, on my request, is the possibility of the Red Cross taking over the relief aspect for the government, where the food supplies are concerned and getting the food supplies to the communities. So hand over from the government systems to the Red Cross, and of course we'll discuss the modalities at some point in respect to that.
He urged Dominicans who may have been skeptical of the move to be positive about the Red Cross's involvement.
My message to the Dominican people, all of us, we have to remain positive. Being negative is not going to help you. It's not going to help your community. It's not going to help our country. Being negative is not going to get a roof over your house. It's not going to get your house rebuilt. It's not going to get our schools rebuilt. It's not going to get you back on the farm. It's not going to get your business open. We all can have many things to complain about, but to what end?
Dominica is now struggling to recover after being ravaged by Hurricane Maria in September. Regional airline Liat is expected to end the year with a loss of $13.25 million as a result of the impact of extreme weather conditions during this hurricane season. Liat could not fly to Dominica, St. Martin, Tortola, and Puerto Rico, all of which were battered by hurricanes over the past 2 months. As a result, the shareholder governments of the cash-strapped carrier have secured a US $7 million loan to help the airline cope. Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who is chair of Liat's shareholder governments, told a press conference earlier this week that between June and September, Liat cancelled 408 flights compared to 67 in 2016, which he says translates to revenue loss of 5 million EC dollars. He said loads on regular flights fell because of the general uncertainty in the market arising from the disasters. The shareholder governments met last week to discuss progress on decisions taken earlier this year concerning further reforms in the airline. At the meeting, they were told that the estimated financial impact of the adverse weather this hurricane season is US $6.5 million, and the market recovery is expected to take 9 to 12 months. Those were the local and regional stories. Do stay with us. Sports is next. In sports, the West Indies selectors have named an unchanged West Indies squad to Zimbabwe for a 2-test series. The 60-member squad will be led by Captain Jason Holder. The first test begins this Saturday, October 21. The second test gets underway on October 29 through to November 2 at the Queen's Sports Club in Bulawayo. West Indies stars in the 2020 format may be among the international cricketers set to play in a novel 2010 concept. The historic 2010 concept was launched in the United Arab Emirates. The tournament, slated to be held from December 21 to 24, will be the shortest version in the history of cricket to be played by international players. It's reportedly getting the backing of cricket legends around the world, and it was approved by the International Cricket Council, supported by Emirates Cricketing Board. And those were the news and sports stories. Do stay with us. Weather Report is next. This is PBCJ's Weather Report. Thanks so much for staying with us. This afternoon, we'll see isolated showers across sections of central and western parishes, and we're also expecting an average temperature between 31 and 33 degrees Celsius. Tonight should be partly cloudy with lingering showers across several parishes, and of course, we're expecting an average temperature between 24 and 26 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow, we'll experience isolated morning showers across eastern parishes, then scattered showers and thunderstorms across most parishes in the afternoon. We're seeing a forecast of temperatures between 28 and 32 degrees Celsius forecast for tomorrow. In our regional forecast, a tropical wave is forecast across the central Caribbean, and it's generating a few clouds for tomorrow. There's a stationary front forecast across the Gulf of Mexico as well. And in our travel planner, we're looking at Panama, where we're seeing a maximum temperature of 29 degrees Celsius. We're also seeing a forecast of showers for Panama and a minimum temperature at 25. Over there in Caracas, you can expect rainfall with a maximum temperature of 29 degrees Celsius. And further afield over there in Los Angeles, we're looking at sunny skies for tomorrow with a maximum temperature at 31 degrees Celsius. But down in Miami, we can expect scattered showers across several areas with a minimum temperature at 24 degrees and a maximum at 27 degrees Celsius. We're also seeing forecasts for New York and Atlanta. And that's it for the weather report. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. Remember, we are the People's Station.
It's Q&A with BCJ, your partner for a new day.
Why are shows blocked on my cable channel?
The owner of a show or series has the